What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm GH Poker, and you want to come to the motherland and play poker where Texas Hold'em got its name. Well, I'm a transplant myself, and here are a few things you should know first. So let's hit the tables and get into that action. First, 98% of the games across Texas are 1-3 unless you're in Dallas or Austin, so I buy in for a normal amount of $300. Second thing, Texas games have no cap, so I could buy into this 1-3 for $3,000 if I wanted, and believe me, it happens a lot. Which brings me to another point. 1-3 games in Texas play more like 2-5 or 5-10 at your local casino, and many times down here, 1-3 games will have $5,000 to $10,000 on the table. So I sit down and they deal me 4 cards. How do I explain this? If you want to play in Texas, you gotta play in Omaha hand. Every club in Texas plays double board PLO bomb pots every dealer change. Mostly it's a $5 ante and you get 4 cards with 2 full boards, and the pot is split between the 2 boards. And you can choose not to play and sit the hand out, but I mean, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. So I get dealt King 4, 8, 9 double suited with a top board that is King 8, 5 and a bottom board that is Queen 7, 7. There is a $20 bet, 2 other callers, and I call. The turn is an 8 on the top and a 4 on the bottom. Same opponent bets $20. The 3 of us call. Now you may think I should be raising here with a full house on the top board, but when you only have 1 board in a split pot situation, you want as many opponents as you can so you can make a little money. Plus my hand is not the nuts and I don't want to bloat this pot. And the river is a 10 on both boards. Same guy now leads out for $70. There is 1 call, and I decide to make the call a fair amount of the time expecting to win 1 board. But that 10 on the river of both boards was a double runner-runner, 1-outer, I guess. I'm not sure how to explain it. This guy has 7, 10, 10 deuce for a full house on both boards. What a sick hand. Who gets lucky with a 10 on the river? Oops. If you do decide to play bomb pots, just be careful. They are fun and lots of action, and you can win a lot, but you can also lose a lot. Moving on, in most winning poker strategies, you want to get hands heads up for better chances of winning or bluffing to win. In Texas, heads up normally means 4 opponents pre-flop. So that's why when you see me 3-betting random hands or open raising large, it's because I'm attempting to narrow the field as much as I can. Well, imagine that. We look down in this hand at King Queen offsuit. There is a raise from under the gun +2 to $15, 1 call, and it's on me, and I 3-bet on the button to $45. Trust me, these 3 players were calling the 15. Back on the original raiser, and well, he decides to make it $215. And this hand is over. He had pocket queens, and he asked me if I had that beat. Queens? Yeah. If it wasn't, you think I'm folding? I lose about $45 with pocket 5s, and then we're back to Omaha. For those that don't know, this is not a PLO double board bomb pot. You see the dealer button? Well, there is another button that goes in reverse direction. And when they meet, the table plays a hand of Omaha also. And yes, that is at every club I have been to. Need I remind you of the song I did? I decide to add on for $400. I make a fold or 2, and now I look down at ace queen offsuit under the gun. I go back and forth with hands like this, choosing to open larger, 10 to 15x under the gun, or just limp calling. And situation depending, limp re-raising. I'm sure 800 people can have their opinion on how bad limping this hand is, but I don't care what they think. This is Texas. 6 ways to a flop that is ace, 9, 3, 2 hearts. Checks to me. Standard play. I bet $20 and get 2 callers. The turn is a jack. First to act, it's time to go for value. I now bet full pot of $75. Opponent 1 folds, smart choice. Opponent 2 calls, and I appreciate your donation. The river is a beautiful queen, and now with top 2 pair, I really want a call. He most likely holds 1 pair here, which is usually an ace. If he had 2 pair or better, he would have raised flop or turn. If he had hearts, he just folds to any bet on the river. So I'm trying to value bet this river, and I decide to make it $75. He thinks for a while, him hauling it over before making the crying call with ace 8 offsuit, and we scoop this pot. After that hand, there is a dealer change, which brings another double board PLO bomb pot. If I wasn't clear earlier, allow me to be redundant. Everyone antes $5 most of the time. Occasionally, if the table agrees, it will be higher. You get dealt 4 cards, and it is an Omaha game, so if you don't know, you must use 2 cards in your hand of the 4 cards. There are 2 flops that come out prior to any rounds of betting. Once the flops are out, then the betting starts in order from the button. So left of the button acts first and the button acts last. Once that happens, you need to know that the pot is split between the 2 boards. Whoever wins one board gets half the pot. Whoever wins another one gets that half of the pot. In order to win the whole pot, you must win both boards. In this hand, which I'm not going to go over, it's a small pot, I end up actually winning 3/4 of the pot, which means me and another fellow chopped one board and I won the other board. Something else you need to think about, you can get quartered, as they say, and lose a bunch of money when you think you have the best hand on one board. Next, I get dealt ace-8 offsuit, and I saw a guy lose a big pot with this hand, so I'm going to go ahead and fold this. Next, I look down at the beautiful Jack-10 of spades. There's a guy with about $45 in a stack. He raises to $20. Everyone folds. I decide to give him some action, so I call, and also the big blind calls. The flop is 10 high with 2 hearts. I check, the big blind checks, and now the guy goes all in for $24. I go ahead and raise the $75 here to get rid of the big blind. It works. He folds. We're heads up. He shows king, queen of diamonds. The turn is an ace of diamonds, and the river is a brick, and we win this pot. I'm showing this hand as an idea of what you may run into in Texas when you play, especially games where people aren't sure of what's happening. I raise pot with ace, king, queen, 9, double suited in Omaha, and I get 3 callers. The flop comes jack, 8, jack, and the hand has no further action. It checks all the way to the river. The turn is a jack, and that brings 3 jacks on board. I don't remember what the river is, but I'm showing this hand because this guy turns over a jack for quads. And this is something else you should know about Texas. Texas players are not bad in the traditional sense, not because they are just like bad at poker, but there is no casinos here. So this is their roulette wheel. When some of them don't even know how to play some of the games, as this gentleman thought using 2 cards somehow meant he only had trips. He also probably would have paid anyone off with a jack if he had pocket 8s, thinking they can only have trips. They just want to gamble. People just want to gamble, and it makes for great action and great games.
It's 2 cards, right?
You played it, but you still
Yeah,
play
but you played the jack and you got the nuts, and you can play the deuce,
I have the
3,
cards.
5, whatever.
All right.
So if you get into a huge pot and lose, just reload and keep playing. Here I'm in late position and raised the $25. Oops, I forgot to show the camera my hand. I look down at ace jack of diamonds. There's 1 limp. I raise the $25 and I get 4 callers, which is, like I said, in Texas, heads up. So we are 5 ways to a flop that is ace, king, 9 with 2 clubs. 2 players check to me, and I bet $75 and no one calls. Pretty easy game. In this next quick hand, I am in late position and look down at king, queen offsuit. I open the action with a $15 raise. The cutoff calls $15, and now the button 3 bets to $60. You see this 3 bet right here? No one does this in Texas. So this is an easy fold. I guess king, queen just can't win tonight. This game's been pretty good action, pretty loosey-goosey, so when I look down at pocket aces, I try to employ the oldest strategy in the book and just limp, hoping for a raise, but I don't get one. The button calls, the small blind calls, and the big blind checks, and we are 4 ways to a flop that is jack, queen, jack. Small blind, big blind check. Now I have to bet, which is $10 because the pot's not very big. The button calls $10, small blind, big blind fold, and we are off to a turn that is the 8 of hearts, and I check it to my opponent, and he checks back. The river is the deuce of diamonds, and now I'm sure I have the best hand unless he has 2 jacks underneath there and doesn't realize he has quads. So I bet $25 and he makes the call and we win this small pot, which probably could have been a little larger if we raised, but that's okay. Now to culminate this episode on Texas Poker, as you can see here, there is a lot of action in this hand. I call a raise of $20 with pocket sevens. In Texas, I should have 3-bet this, mistake number 1, but I didn't. The button calls $15. Now the small blind goes all in for $42. The big blind calls $42 and the original raiser calls $42. Now it's on me. I think this is a situation in the rest of the country. I'm just calling or folding due to stack depths. But in Texas, I probably have the best hand right now. I decided just to call, and now the button calls. We are 5 ways to a flop that is king of spades, 5 of spades, 3 of diamonds. Action checks to me, and now with an overcard, I check. The button bets $60. Now the big blind goes all in for $89. The other player over here folds, and I still think I have the best hand. I fold, but I have some reservations about it. I messed this hand up badly. When the hands get rolled over, the gentleman that was all in preflop has ace-queen offsuit, and the big blind has queen-8 of spades, and the button has 5-6 offsuit. So I was correct. I had the best hand. With the turn of 3 and the river 7, I would have ended up with the best hand. And this is me pounding the table, angry at my bad decisions. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the beauty of Texas poker. All in all, Texas poker is great, and I do want to bring up something real quick that I wasn't clear on in the video. Yes, there are hold'em games, but I think only one place, the Lodge in Austin, runs pure hold'em where there are no Omaha hands inside of the hold'em game. Every other club has the button that goes around and double board PLO bomb pots. There are next to no pure hold'em games down here. One other thing I want to touch on, the reason Texas poker is so great, Bart Hansen just referred to this in a tweet recently about being out in LA and Vegas and all the Euros playing out there and them not being talkative or whatever. And I think that that's part of the reason that makes Texas poker so great, is that people are very friendly. There's conversation going on. It's a great place to play. You rarely ever feel like there's an issue or it's too serious. That's why I think that's part of the game that people love and enjoy so much, is meeting people from all walks of life and getting to know people that you otherwise would never probably meet. And people talk, and it's great, and it's a fun time. So if you want to come play in Texas, I highly suggest you do. It's a great place to play poker. There are clubs all over the state. Every city has 10, 15, 20 clubs. So, and if you do, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter, and maybe we can play some Hold'em Omaha double board PLO bomb pots together. Lastly, I had an important phone call, so I had to get up out of there really quickly. I end up in the game for 700, out for 833 for a profit of $133. And as always, you know the slogan, we're headed to the moon, baby. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.